Hello everyone, I'm Julia from JetOctopus, and today we're absolutely happy to share with you our product update. We've integrated Google Search Console into our dashboard, and it is called Keywords. Let's start with the overview, and let's pick up the period. We have last 7 days, last month, 3 months, etc., because you'd always better look at your keywords within the period of time. So here we see the general performance within the impressions, within the clicks and CTRs. If we look deeper, we see some increases of impressions and clicks, and looking closer to the data, these are the Mondays, and we are having the deal right now with the job site, and job seekers usually are more active on Mondays, and their interest to look for a job closer to the weekends usually decreases almost 2 times. If we look at it by devices, performance by device is very interesting picture. Impressions are more or less the same from desktop and mobile. But if we go to clicks, we see that performance by mobile within the clicks is much more higher. We see that mobile version provides us like 8 times more clicks, having more or less the same number of impressions. It means that you should better be much more attentive about your mobile version, and you put all your priorities to mobile first. Here we see the diagram within the device's performance, and we see that almost 82% of clicks are provided by mobile. The same diagram by countries, we see it within the impressions, we see it within the clicks, and we can look at the CTR by countries. Let's go to insights. Here we see more detailed information. Let's start with clicks by positions. We see that the majority of clicks are coming from positions 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. And the chart with rankings by positions are more or less the same, so it is understandable why we are getting the majority of traffic from these positions, because we have the majority of rankings over here. Queries counts by words. So what are the most popular queries? How many words there are within these thematics? So we see that 3 words queries are the most popular. And we see that the impressions are coming exactly from these 3 words of queries. I mean, the majority of impressions. I do like this chart, which is queries, vice versa, clicks by Pareto. It means that how many active queries means queries which bring you traffic, bring you clicks. How many active queries bring you the majority of traffic. In this case, the picture is more or less the same. Out of all the queries, 60% are active, and these 60% of active queries bring this website 80% of traffic. It is interesting because there are a lot of cases of our clients when out of all the queries there are only 5% of active, which bring the site 80% of the traffic. And this is interesting chart to work on it, and to try different hypotheses, and to think about that. Let's go to the impact. Here we are overlapping the data of Google Search Console with the crawling data, and let's see, we are having a sort of funnel. So this is the number of crawled pages. This is the number of pages opened to indexation. This is the pages which receive impressions, and the pages receiving clicks. Here we see active URLs and clicks. What means active URLs? These are the URLs which bring you clicks. And we see that there are 4,400 clicks which are coming just from 183 URLs. So it is very interesting to look at these URLs and to analyze them, why they bring so much traffic, and to think of it. All of the data is clickable, and pushing on it, we are coming to our data table with the concrete filters, and you may look at these URLs, you may look at the title, what is the DFI of this URL, how many clicks, where it was found. You may apply different filters over here. You may apply how many internal links it has. And to analyze this list of URLs deeper, you may export it, and you may make some conclusions which you can apply to other uh, of your pages, and to have the same picture. So to have not only 200 URLs bringing the majority of your clicks, but much more. Then we have the chart by internal links. We see that the majority of impressions are coming from URLs which have more than 10 internal links, from 10 to 100. And it is also very good insight for you to pay more attention to these URLs which has less than 10 internal links, and to look at these URLs, because you see that at this particular website the best pages are those which have 10 from 10 to 100 internal linkings. Active URLs by DFI. Again, active URLs, those URLs which bring in your traffic. We see on which DFI it is located, and we can look at in percentages and look at this data closer. Now let's look at keywords. Here you will have a lot of options to work with your keywords more detailed. We pick up the last month's period, and we will look at the efficiency of your queries and URLs within the last month. So here you see different criteria like number of impressions, number of clicks, position, what is the dynamic of it. And here you have a very good opportunity to filter it in any ways. Let's say you want to filter the list by the concrete query. Let's say high frequency query at this website. We put it, query contain the exact word, and we get 1000 URLs with this query, with this word in the query, and we see the dynamic of it. We see that all the needed criteria of that, to look at how many impressions, what is the dynamics of it, what is the CTR. Also, you can filter this by impressions. For example, you want to look at low frequency queries which bring you really a small amount of clicks, and you want to look at it closer and to try to understand what is wrong with it. We pick up all devices impressions less than, let's say, 100 for the last month, and apply this filter. And we are getting a lot of URLs which almost don't bring us traffic, and we can export this list and give it for improvement. We can analyze why it is that, what is the title of it, etc., etc. It is very suitable here to work with segments. Let's say I would like to have segment with low frequency queries. We put the title low frequency, then we join it with Google Search Console. Then we pick up, let's say, the period for last month, and those queries which for the last month have less than 100 impressions. Save segment. And we are getting the whole list of URLs which for the last month had less than 100 impressions. We see the dynamics of it, we see the positions of it, and we can make conclusions why they're bringing so low traffic, why they're not popular, what is the query name, what is the URL, and we can also export it and to work with it. We can apply different columns here and work with it more closer. Also, we can add segment within the concrete query you're interested, because there are usually this percentage of active queries that bring you the most of traffic, and you want to watch them uh, from day to day and to keep an eye on it. And you want to have this segment because segments help you to watch the data without any restoring it. It takes no time. Let's say you put the name of this segment, and then again you join with data set. Then we apply, let's say, last month, and we add that query contain concrete name, concrete word. We save the segment, and we are getting all the data within this high frequency query word, or with all the queries we have with this concrete word, and we are having all the numbers concerning these high profit queries for your website. And you will watch the segment any days, and it will take you no time. Let's move to the next section, which is called cannibalization. And we do love this data set. What it means? It means that there is a query, there is a number of impressions for the last month as we applied, and we see how many pages are competing for this query. So they are competing between themselves, and we may look the whole list of it. We can transfer to each URL, and we can look at it more detailedly, and we should make some conclusions because we are competing with ourselves, and this is very interesting data table, and there are a lot of insights over here. You can also export it to Excel or CSV and to work with it. Also, you remember that we have built some segments, and you may look at the cannibalization picture within one of your most popular queries. And what is the picture here? And there are a lot of URLs competing for this particular query, for this particular query, and you should make some decisions what you're gonna have with it. Again, within the segment with low frequently queries, we also have cannibalization, and we definitely see what is the query and which URLs are competing in SERP with it. Another interesting report is called winners. These are the queries which are increasing, which have the positive dynamics for the last month. As we remember, these are the 7 days. We pick up, let's say, the last month, and we see the URLs of our winners. This is our segment low frequency. We don't need it. We want to look at all pages, all the URLs which have the positive dynamics. And we see how many impressions, we see the positions of it, we see the dynamics of it. You can again apply any columns you want to, so to filter the list deeper. And you can look at it with your eyes and to see what is the list of winners. Again, by impressions, then by clicks, and by CTRs, by positions, by back to top, etc. And on the opposite side, we have losers. We have the list of curious, which have a very negative dynamics. You see the number of impressions, you see the number of clicks and CTR, and you see this negative dynamic of it. And it is definitely the list of URLs to work on it, to understand why the dynamics is negative and what to change here. Again, here we can anytime apply our pre-built segments and watch the data within the segments and realize what is happening within more profitable queries and what is the dynamics here. The last section I want you to demonstrate is our data table, which is already well known to you. So we are going to our data table and join it with Google Search Console. We apply the last month's data, let's say. Then we would like to have the list of URLs which is greater than 100 impressions for the last months. And we would like to see the crawling parameters of these URLs. Let's say we are getting this list of URLs and we would like to apply some additional filters. We would like to look at number of internal links. We would like to look at DFI of these URLs and to look closer at the list of most popular queries within this website which bring in us the most of traffic. So we see the number of impressions this particular URL brings us more than 2,000 impressions for the last months. And we see the DFI of this URL, it is 3 clicks from the index. We see that this URL has 200 internal links, which is really powerful here. And we can analyze this. We can filter this list by number of internal links, let's say, and to compare. Let's have a look at most linked URLs, what number of impressions it brings us. So we see this championed by internal links and how many impressions it brought us for the last month. We see this URLs with a lot of internal links and we see the impact in SERP within the impressions over here. We can also set up columns with clicks, not only impressions, but let's look at clicks and also compare this data. We can filter by clicks because this is the actual final action we are waiting for our potential users, and we want to look at the URLs which bring us the majority of clicks from the SERP. So here we have filtered this list and we see this particular URL brought us more than 1,000 clicks. This is the number of impressions, and we see that this page is really interlinked well. It has almost 2,000 internal links. We see that this is 1 click from the distance, and we can make conclusions that these two parameters make really sense here, and it has power here. We can also analyze the whole list by these parameters and make conclusions. We see that all the queries that bring us a lot of clicks, not only impressions but clicks, they are interlinked really well. They have a lot of internal links, not just 10 or 50, but it has more than 1,000 internal links. And it is located not further than second or third DFI, which is also really crucial. And we are always speaking about that. We are always describing that DFI is really crucial, and internal structure is really powerful tool within the internal linking of the site and within the on-site optimization. You may also export all this data and work with it. And again, you can work with the segments. So guys, this is all that I wanted to cover in this first introduction video about Google Search Console integration beta. The last thing is how to integrate that. If you are our client, you will get all this integration automatically. If you are on a trial and not a paying client yet, in your profile you see the Google Search Console integration. You add one of your Google accounts to which you want to give us access to, and don't worry, we get only read-only, and you may delete this access anytime. So, we invite you for our free trial of Google Search Console. Please write to us into support chat or to email, and we will give you all these opportunities to get as much value as you can from our updated product. And we will be really glad to get your feedback, to get your comments, and I assure you that I will be back with our second integration of it really soon. Thank you very much for your attention and have a great day.